it doesn't matter. It's just you're using this primal movement pattern of biolocomotion of gait. That's another primal movement pattern. The other would be to push something, and you can push it at chest height. That's fine. You could do it standing or laying down. I prefer standing because you have ground reaction forces. So pushing and then pulling. My suggestion is to pull from different directions. Pull from the ground, the direction of the ground, pull from straight out of you, and then pull from above, like if you were pulling yourself up to a limb of a tree or you were climbing a hill. So that's another primal movement pattern. And then a rotation, rotating, and whether that would be rotating your arms to bring in a hose or rotating to get dishes out of a dishwasher or some kind of, or rotating to get in and out of a car. That's another primal movement pattern, is rotation. So you have ascension and descension, walking or single leg stuff, a push and a pull, and some kind of rotation. And if you just did that without a weight, you got up from your chair and you squatted down 10 times, and then you just, stood in place 10 times, and then you pulled back your shoulders for a few seconds, and then you pushed against your desk, and then you just twisted like a washing machine, and you did that like 3-4 times a day, it would limber you up. Right. Okay? It's not going to get you in shape. So anybody that tells you that you're going to get in shape in 10 minutes a day, give them the number of someone you hate, because it's a dumb thing. You can't get rich in 10 minutes a day. You can't get a college education in 10 minutes a day. You can't do a good job in 10 minutes a day. There's absolutely, otherwise I'll give you a heavy bar of soap, and in the shower, you can get in shape. Okay, unless your shape wants to be a big circle. That you can do in 10 minutes a day.
All right, John, that seems very fair to me. I completely agree with you. And now so since you've been doing this, when your dad took you to the gym, so you've been doing this really for a very long time.
Like 40 years.
And you would say now that we who love exercise or love eating carefully or love talking about the environment or love all those important subjects, we know a lot more now than we did, say, in the 70s. So is there anything that you're doing now that you weren't doing, say, in 1978 that makes you kind of smile because it seems so obvious now, but you didn't know it in 78 or 79?
Absolutely. Now, one thing you have to realize is that something that is inevitable is change. So whatever you're doing at 19, 22, 29, 35, 42, your life changes.
Right.
And if you think about just all aspects of your life, relationship-wise, financial-wise, physically, everything changed. So you have to realize that you have to constantly be aware that you're going to change. Things are going to change. And based on what happens into your life, we're all different. Your injuries, emotional, psychological, financial burdens, things have to change. And I'm talking about sleep, nutrition, and movement. Those three major things have to change. So for me, what I've learned is that when I was 19, 21, 22, as a huge meat eater, and I love food. So I love anything with an I on the end of it. Pepperoni, pastrami, linguine, all those things, salami, anything with an I love it. I love French fries. So I'm going to continue to eat those types of foods, but I need to learn when. I have to change my relationship to them. So instead of eating hot dogs every day for lunch, which I used to eat 4 to 6 hot dogs when I was 19 every day for lunch. It was easy to do. I can't do that anymore. So now a hot dog might be more of a reward for something that, hey, you know what? And I just did a 70-mile bike ride, 5.5 hours, and I climbed 6,000 feet. Now, the best thing to eat would not be a hot dog. But I like hot dogs, so I'm going to have a hot dog. So I found that as I get older, I operate better with less amounts of food. The amount of food that I eat is much less than I was when I was in my teens or 20s. And I find that whole foods, natural foods, vegetables, fruits, foods that come from the earth seem to benefit me better. I feel better. Still love a great steak, still love French fries. I love all of that, but you have to change. You have to be wise. You have to realize that as your body changes, you must become wiser. You need to warm up before you hit baseballs. I love to go to the batting cages, but I have to warm up. Like when I was a guy, 20 years old, my warm up was just my first set. That was it. That was my warm up.
Right.
Now, no. Now I go through, and I actually have it on YouTube. It's called, if you YouTube my name, it says John Platero, you'll see a thing called Total Body Tune-Up. And it's just about a 6-minute, kind of has a little bit of maybe some yoga kind of type poses, but it's just going through ranges of motions in your joints. So I've learned that I have to change as I get older. And I'm sure there's going to be new things that are going to happen. But basically, that aha thing for me is the meat. That had to I had to get away from that so much.
Especially the heavily prepared, like pepperoni and salami. There's kind of like a lot of stuff in it. It's not like eating fresh meat.
No. And pepperoni for me, I mean, my father used to get so mad because he used to eat it like candy. I love it. I don't know why I love it. I just love it.
Like salt?
Yeah, I love salt. Exactly. So you just have to learn that. And there's some techniques that if you're weak, you have to realize you can't buy it. If you buy it, it's in the fridge. It's just really hard to do away with it. So you buy it once in a while as a reward, and you have it, and that's it, and you put it away.
Okay, I like that perspective, and let me tell you a fast story. I was working a booth in Florida, men who just finished running a marathon, and this was it was in the mid-'80s, and I was working this booth, and I'm a wellness guy, I eat very carefully, and it always made perfect sense to me. So I'm watching the men finish the race, and one of the men who just finishes running a marathon, which takes a lot of effort to finish, it's not something you do for 2 weekends of working out. Okay.
Right.
This guy finishes the marathon, walks over to a booth, and drinks a beer. Now, from my perspective, as a guy who works with food as a healing tool, I thought to myself, that is the stupidest thing, the most destructive thing I think you could possibly do after putting your body through a marathon. And I thought, am I a little bit too hardcore? Am I, but I thought, what is this man's consciousness to do that? This guy just ran a marathon. He's obviously committed to wellness. So do you think that was just a reward? I mean, that makes perfect sense, the way you describe it. I mean, I kind of like that. But I thought, boy, that seems like a bad idea, drinking alcohol after running a marathon.
Well, actually, I've seen that. I've actually seen in Europe. I was in Italy, and I saw in the feed zone in a race a guy being handed a beer. First, beer has carbohydrates. It has B vitamins. It does have some nutritional value. It doesn't have a lot of alcohol, but yeah, it seems.
But it's still ethanol.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly. Right. So yeah, I don't know the guy, but maybe it was just a reward. Maybe it was just a one-time deal for him. And he, when you burn that many calories, honestly, when you do something like that, you can eat an entire meal, and 40 minutes later, it will feel like you haven't eaten a thing, and you need to eat. And you can eat an entire meal again. It's like all your tissues just go and suck up all those nutrients. So one beer isn't going to kill him.
I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger once on a tape say after he likes to work out, he likes to take a warm shower and wear a cotton shirt. And I thought to myself, that was one of the nicest things I've heard Arnold say. I thought, exactly, you work out, you take a warm shower, you wear a cotton shirt, you kind of hang around the house a little bit. Seems great. But to drink a beer seems, bang to the body. I mean, like, what was that guy thinking?
I don't know. I'm lucky. I have never liked the taste of alcohol. One thing is I was a drummer. I was a professional drummer for 25 years. And so I was around alcohol a lot from as a little boy, but I never liked the taste. And I hear people all the time going, oh, wine. And I tasted it. It tastes nasty to me. So I'm lucky in certain aspects where those things don't pull me, but the French fries and the meat and that kind of constantly is always it's a challenge for me to do that. And in my sport, in cycling, I was not blessed with a really good aerobic engine. I was a baseball player. I was a football player, real short spurts. So cycling is a longer distance. So for me, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of weight loss, a lot of training to be good. Where for some people, like for drumming, it's real easy for me. I can just do it. Baseball, I can just go hit baseballs. But for cycling, I literally I started doing intermittent fasting. And if you research intermittent fasting, there is tons of research on the benefits of that. In fact,
you mean like one day of just drinking herbal tea or something?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, so I would eat a nice dinner on Sunday night, basically like my last meal. I'd eat steak and everything. And then I wouldn't eat again until Tuesday morning. So that whole day, Monday, which is the busiest day of my week, and I'm so busy,